the last thing before dessert, so I'll try to move it along. First of all, congratulations, Kathy, and thank you, Maria and Tracy, and everyone at the Women's Ventures Fund for inviting me here tonight. So I'm not going to introduce myself again. I do run America's Fixed Sales, and Tanya, thank you for spelling out fixed income currencies and commodities. So that is definitely a mouthful. That is a business that our division actually helps contribute about $8 billion in revenues per year at Bank of America Merrill Lynch. So when Maria and Tracy told me that they wanted to honor me for my business success and the work I've done with female entrepreneurs to date, my initial reaction was a resounding no. I grew up with two university professors as parents who told me all the time that there's always someone better, smarter, and more successful. It made me feel that modesty and staying under the radar was the way of life. It was not until I spoke to a few girlfriends of mine who are sitting here tonight, who are all starting their own businesses and facing the challenges that the Women's Venture Fund is committed to solving, did I choose to be here to share my story in support of a cause that is much bigger than any one of us. The cause is already near and dear to my heart. At our company, I've been involved in our partnership with Vital Voices, where I mentor Latin American female entrepreneurs on business strategy and financial planning. Tonight, I'm wearing jewelry designed by one of my mentees, Yanina Fao, an Argentinian designer. You can check oleana.com, that's her website. Another mentee of mine, Somala Diaz, who owns the Garden Cafe restaurant. I believe the Yelp rating is 5.0. In Nicaragua, is having the best year in her business. I'm so proud of what these women have accomplished. But there's work to be done at home, as I discussed with Maria. And since I'm a banker, I've got a lot of numbers. In the US, 31% of the businesses are owned by women, 31%, contributing 14% of employment and 12% of revenues. Have you noticed the numbers are going down? And in 2015, that 12% of revenues of total revenues in the US meant $1.5 trillion in total sales. However, less than 4% of these businesses made more than $500,000 in annual sales, and less than 2% made more than $1 million in annual sales. So clearly women entrepreneurs tend to hit a ceiling, which some of the reasons I think Maria articulated, which could be due to a lack of business training, access to equity and debt capital, and a support system including effective sponsors and mentors. Women's Venture Fund is a very important organization that helps women succeed. They gather women like many of you who have the courage to start businesses on your own, and women like myself who work at large corporations and achieve a level of success that was not possible even a decade ago. It gives us an opportunity to help each other become the biggest and best versions of ourselves. We can celebrate success together and learn from each other's experiences and pay it forward. So, for the first time under the somewhat uncomfortable spotlight, I'd like to say that yes, I'm proud of what I've accomplished so far on Wall Street. For a girl who was born in China, went to school in Japan, and didn't even live in an English-speaking country until the age of 23, I never thought that one day I would hold one of the most senior positions on Wall Street. Held by men exclusively for decades, so I'm happy to stand in front of you as an example of mission possible. I owe it to great sponsors and mentors like Tom Montag, who is the president of Bank of America Merrill Lynch, but I also owe it to never giving up. Tonight, Tom's wife Janet is actually here with us tonight. I want to thank Tom and Janet for helping me throughout the years. Can never succeed without true sponsors and mentors. Maria and Tracy asked me to tell you a story about a defining moment in my life that helped me become who I am, so here it goes. And it's a story I never told in public, so please bear with me. When I was a child, I was a very passionate ballerina. I practiced from the age of 5 to 17. I was pretty decent at it. I won city and statewide contests and even got a 3rd place in the national competition, dance competition in China. I decided to go to Japan for university after high school, so before I left China, I had one last performance at the Grand Theater in my hometown. Over 1,000 people attended, including the mayor, all my friends, and my parents. We had very high standards. I had a solo performance from the Swan Lake, and suffice it to say, there was a lot of pressure. I felt that the 12-year dance career that I had needed to conclude with perfection. Everyone waited with anticipation. I started to dance gracefully, but halfway through, I forgot the sequence and froze on stage. I floated aimlessly from one corner of the stage to the other, desperately trying to recall the next move. I only recovered towards the very end of the dance, and when the music was over, there was no applause. My parents were visibly disappointed, and I felt the deepest humiliation and shame that I have ever experienced. That was supposed to be the perfect moment to conclude 12 years of daily practice, sweat and tears, and sacrifice, and I blew it. For days and weeks after that, I barely spoke. I was absolutely devastated for embarrassing myself and my parents in front of the entire city. When I boarded the flight to Tokyo, knowing only 2 words in Japanese, hello and goodbye, which is konnichiwa and sayonara, I wondered if I was going to survive in a foreign world. The plane took off, and as it rose above 30,000 feet, tears filled my eyes. The humiliation was behind me, the honors were behind me, the past was gone, and a new chapter of my life was waiting for me. I could dwell on this episode forever and let it destroy me, or I could lift myself out of desperation and self-pity and turn this disastrous experience into something positive that could inspire myself to redeem myself. That moment of clarity is what I needed, and the choice was clear. I learned Japanese in 2.5 months and took the Japanese university entrance exams. I did well enough to get accepted into Tokyo University, one of the most competitive in Japan and one of the best in Asia. After graduating at the top of my class, I joined Merrill Lynch in Tokyo. I started in equity derivative structuring and trading and was transferred to Merrill Lynch in London, where I was promoted to run the cross-border structuring business between Japan and Europe. Several years later, I raised my hand to go to New York and again was given expanded responsibilities. I became a managing director at the age of 29 and ran the cross-asset solutions business for pensions, endowments, and foundations at Goldman Sachs. It is at Goldman where I met Tom Montag, who was the head of the securities division at the time. Tom gave me very valuable mentoring and support and helped me take my work to the next level. He brought me to Bank of America Merrill Lynch 6.5 years ago. Following Tom to this great franchise is one of the best business decisions I've ever made. The best personal decisions I've ever made were to marry a great man named Rich Steer, who's sitting here tonight with me, and have our son Ryan, who's 17 months old today. I'm truly blessed. So who knew? The moment of the most devastating failure in my life became the inspiration, the source of strength that drove me to prove my worth and to never give up. As we all know, life is not an unbroken string of triumphs. We can all be inspired by our failures and our success. We can prevail as long as we work hard, have the right support system, including effective mentors and sponsors, and family members, and always have faith in ourselves. So thank you again for this wonderful honor tonight and allowing me to share the story of my journey with you. I'm deeply humbled. I wish all of you success and happiness, and together, let's help women in business become stronger and more powerful every day. Thank you.